What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 2, Episode 17. So, we start this episode off with Marceau down in Uptown. He's meeting with the architect. That architect, I tell you, she must be the only architect in Huntsville. But I ain't mad at her because she a black woman doing her thing. Because every time they need some work done, this is who they call. And so she's doing some work for Marceau on Uptown Black. Is it called Black? I know Black is the cigar bar. I guess Uptown is like the restaurant, I guess. And he's talking about doing a brunch and all kinds of stuff. And what we see is that where he's building this used to be like a rundown strip mall that was sort of like a thrift store type situation where they had just a lot of what some people would consider junk there. And Marceau comes through to talk to him. And, you know, Marceau said, hey, you know, for some people it was probably junk, but, you know, growing up poor for me and my family, it was a place where we could come and get some things we needed. You know, we could pay it on layaway or whatever. And, you know, but again, this takes me back to what the original idea for the comeback group was. That we're going to build up in our own neighborhoods, in our own communities, and we're going to get ahead of gentrification. Because let's be clear, gentrification is coming whether we want it to or not, whether we like it or not. And if you have the means and the wherewithal to be in front of it, then be in front of it. And then they had a really good conversation. Marceau said, listen, man, how you feeling? And Martell did what Martell does. Oh, I'm good. I'm great. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm probably better than what some people might think I am, but I'm good. Marceau was like, no, but like for real. Because see, let's remember, these two were friends. Like they were friends. And so Marceau he know the taking down the facade Martell. And Marceau told him, he said, listen, I think y'all need to hit rock bottom. And Marceau was like, why would you say that? He said, because until y'all hit rock bottom, y'all not going to get nowhere. And I understood what Marceau was saying. It's kind of like a drug addict. You can want a drug addict to get clean, and they can want themselves to get clean. But until they hit, and again, everybody's rock bottom is different. It doesn't look the same. For some drug addicts, rock bottom is homeless on the street, can't feed myself. For others, I have a family member who, his daughter being born was his rock bottom. Him seeing his daughter being born, not knowing whether the daughter was going to come out addicted to drugs or not, that was sort of it for him. And he's been clean ever since. His daughter's almost 30 now. So everybody's rock bottom is different. So I understood what Marceau was saying. He was like, listen, y'all keep doing this back and forth. But what is the rock bottom for y'all? You know, but it was a good conversation. And then we see Melody talking to her mother-in-law. And, you know, they've always had a good relationship. If you go back to season 1, when Melody was having some problems, she went to her mother-in-law to go talk to her. I think she skipped Kimmy's bridal shower to go and talk to her mother-in-law because she had some things on her mind. So they've always had a good conversation. And so one of the things they were talking about was Melody cheating. And I feel like she wanted to clear that up with her mother-in-law and make it clear, listen, I know what what Martell is running around town saying, but I never cheated on your husband. on your son. Did I date when me and him were separated? Sure. And in my mind, that's not cheating. You know, we weren't living in the same house. We weren't together. I wasn't speaking to him. I had got my own apartment. And yes, I was dating somebody for a couple of weeks. We didn't even have sex. And whether y'all did or not, that ain't my business, Melody. That ain't my business. And then she said, and when I moved out that house on April the 4th, baby, she gave us the date. She said, anything that happened after that, as far as I'm concerned, that ain't cheating because I'm not with him. We're in separate homes. I have every intention of divorcing him. So as far as I'm concerned, that ain't cheating. She said, now on the other side, when you carry on a 5-year relationship, you're coming home to me every day, yet you still have a girlfriend. And let's be clear, going back to season 1, Martell called that woman his girlfriend, okay? So when you have a girlfriend, that's a whole nother conversation. And then Melody said, well, you know your son is trying to get full custody, right? And so you know that mean that he want you to help him. Mama was like, oh, no, that's not what's happening. She said, oh, no, that's exactly what it is. Because you already know that when he has the kids, when he need a babysitter, when he needs something, you the person he go to. So he talking about something, he want full custody. That means you and him going to be raising the kids. And Mama was like, oh, no, ma'am, that's not going to happen. I don't know what make him think that's going to happen, but that ain't going to happen. No. So, then the bomb dropped. Mama confirmed the baby and the sex of the baby. Well, I think Melody knew about the baby, but Mama confirmed the sex of the baby. And I think that's when it got real for me. I mean, I know it was real for Melody before that, but I think that's when Melody was like, damn. And you could see her whole affect change. You could see her whole mood change. And you could tell that it really bothered her, which it should. Like, at the end of the day, this is still somebody that you shared, what, they've been together 12 years. They dated for however many years before that. It doesn't go away overnight. I mean, it can't. You know, if it went away overnight, then I would have to question whether it was real to begin with. So we definitely saw that, you know, that bothered Melody, you know. Now, the Scotts, Marceau and Letitia are having a date night. Letitia shows up to the office. She dressed all sexy. And she actually has a private dinner with the chef outside for him in like a little igloo thing. I've seen these at some restaurants that had to do, you know, during the wintertime, do outdoor dining for the pandemic. And it's real cute. So it was like a little igloo and they're inside. Couple of things come up. Letitia tells Marceau about the girls trip. And Marceau's like, listen, you know, if you like it, I love it. I mean, if you think you should do it, if you think that, you know, that's going to be something to help you and Melody clear the air and come to some sort of middle ground and some sort of understanding, I mean, you know, go for it. Then he says they get to talking about Letitia and the relationship. Marceau. I love Marceau. Y'all know I love me some Marceau. Even in the midst of Marceau's misogynism, I love him. Then we have a conversation like this. Marceau sat there talking about something. Well, you know, I really want you to step up. He said, no, she said something about stepping up. And he said, well, you know, I really don't need you to step up. I need you to step back into your role as mother. Listen, Marceau is not going to let this go. Let's be clear. At the end of the day, Marceau wants a stay-at-home wife. He does not want a business partner. He wants a wife to stay at home and watch the children. I'm sure Marceau probably want her to watch the children until they graduate from college. He's not interested in Letitia becoming a businesswoman. The problem is Letitia wants to be a businesswoman. And this was a main issue in season 1. I feel like Marceau is dealing with it, but I think with the pandemic and with the kids being home from school, it might have changed some things up. But at the end of the day, Marceau does not want a business. He doesn't, that's not what he wants. And I don't know if that's going to be make or break for their marriage or not. I mean, like outside of the show, I don't know if that's going to be make or break for their marriage, but that's just not what he wants. And I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, they had that conversation. And you can see the look on Letitia's face like, listen, I'm not going to ruin date night by arguing over this. I'm going to just let him say his piece. I'm going to sit here and sip on my wine. And that's going to be that. Like, I feel like that's exactly what she was thinking. Like, you can see the look on her face like, yeah, we're not doing this. So then we have Melody and Martell with the children exchange. It was Melody's week. And now it's, you know, it's Martell's week. So they're exchanging the children. And Martell says, listen, I need to talk to you. And Melody was like, oh my God, what you need to talk to me about? Like, I don't understand why you need to talk to me about anything at all. Like that. Like you can just see the look all over her face. Like, I don't know. What? Melody, I also never want you to wear that wig again. Ever. Ever. In life. I want y'all to put that wig the same place we put Karen Huger's wig that she wore down to New Orleans. I just want y'all to put it in the same place. Anyway, moving on. So Martell decides to start talking to Melody about the kids and the custody and the divorce. And I feel like it was just an excuse to argue with Melody. Because like he said, well, I already sent your lawyer the paperwork. Okay, well then why are we having a conversation about it? If you already sent the kids my lawyer the paperwork, then we're going to let the lawyers handle it. Because at the end of the day, I'm not going to change my mind. Like, you want full custody. That's not happening, sir. I'm not giving you full custody of shit. Like, that's not happening. Then they got to talking about what happens at her house versus what happened at his house. The kids want to stay with her because when she goes to Atlanta, she stays at her brother's house, and they have a pool, and they have this, and they don't have to do as many chores and all of that. And Martell is like, yeah, because at my house, it's structured, and they have to do chores, and they have to do this. She was like, yeah, but they're kids. So at the end of the day, kids don't want all of that. Like, it just is what it is. So then she said, oh yeah, congratulations, your mama told me you having a boy. Deuces. Baby Melody tried to roll out so smooth. Martell said, no, you won't. Like, you're not about to embarrass me up in here. You don't get to just hit me with the deuces sign and roll out. You could tell he was so embarrassed. But you know what you couldn't do in that moment, Martell? You couldn't call her a liar. You know what you couldn't do in that moment, Martell? You couldn't say she won't tell the truth. I noticed you ain't say none of that. I noticed none of that came out your mouth. But baby, he was in his feelings about that. He was like, how you just gonna hit me with that with a smart remark and then roll out on me? Maurice, Kimmy, and Jalen. So we're having a family meeting about what Jalen is going to do. Kimmy, from the beginning, has always said, listen, he doesn't have it all figured out. And you know what? It's okay. Because thank God I was able to pay for school, and he don't have no student loan. We are in the middle of a pandemic. He's working. He may not be working in a career, but he's working at a job. And I'm okay with that right now. Maurice, on the other hand, is really trying to push him to have it all figured out. Now, they had this whole meeting for Maurice to figure out, I guess it's okay if you don't have all the answers. And Kimmy was like, that's what I've been trying to say for the last 6 months. And Jalen said, listen, I know it might sound wrong and it may not be the answer you want to hear, but I don't know. I don't have it figured out, and I don't know. And he said, if I still don't know in a couple of years and I'm still in this same place, then okay, we can revisit it and y'all can rake me, across y'all can rake me over the coals. But as of right now, I don't know. Like, I feel like you're trying to push me to be an entrepreneur, and I don't know if that's the direction I want to go. I'm working so I can pay for real estate school. I told you that I want to work with my mama and sell real estate. Like, I'm not sure what else you want from me. And Maurice said, and I feel like Maurice had an aha moment in the conversation where he was like, well, people come to me to get advice, and I feel like I can help everybody else, but I can't help my own son. And I love that he kept calling him his son. And he never said stepson. He always said, my son, my son, my son. I was here for that. Thank you. Appreciate that, Maurice. But that's what he kept saying was, I just don't understand how I can seem to help everybody else, but I can't help my own son. But here's the difference, Maurice. These people that are coming to you are probably coming to you and they already have an idea of what they want to do. They're asking you for your help on getting it done. Jalen hasn't figured out what he wants to do. And I think we put pressure, and it really starts as a kid. I remember hearing that one time, people saying, stop asking kids what they want to be when they grow up. Stop. Because it's okay to have interest, and it's okay to, say what it is that you're interested, but find a different way of wording the question. What do you like to do? What are you interested in? But saying, what do you want to be when you grow up? It puts this weird pressure on people to feel like they have to have an answer. And I feel like even in college, sometimes we don't have it all figured out. We work jobs, not careers. Some of us come out of college, boom, 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 boom. Others of us come out of college and we're working jobs. I worked a few jobs before I got into my career. And I had a college degree. So and so I feel like by the end of the conversation, Maurice got it. I could appreciate that Jalen was clear. He stood his ground. I could tell that he was, I'm sure it helped that Kimmy had his back. Kimmy was there supporting it. But he was very clear. He wasn't disrespectful, but he was very clear and concise in how he felt and where he was in that moment. And I can appreciate that. All right, let's get down here to the girls' day trip. So the ladies show up. Kimmy's late. Nope, not Kimmy. Letitia's late. Now, Kimmy was on time. Well, all the rest of the ladies were on time. And Letitia said, well, I got caught up with the kids. But I mean, everybody else got there, it was daylight. By the time you got there, it was dark. Now, I know we filmed this during daylight savings, so it probably was like 4 or 5 o'clock. But I'm just trying to figure out what time did she ask y'all to be there, that if everybody else got there when it was light and you got there when it was dark and this was a day trip. I understand getting caught up with the kids. I mean, you're a mother first, but I'm just wondering, how late were you? And then you said, well, the ladies have already been here and I feel this weird vibe. Yeah, because they've been there for 5 hours waiting on you. So they immediately go and, you know, they go eat. And you can tell it was cold. Everybody ended up having to change their clothes. And they got on blankets. They wrapped up in blankets and got hoodies on and all this other stuff. And we get, you know, the ladies get changed up and everything. And, you know, they're talking and having a good vibe. And they play a couple of games. They play Twister and a few other games. And then we find out that Destiny has gotten in touch with the same woman, I forget her name, the same woman that Melody had to talk to the kids. Now, she introduced herself as a shaman. And I remember asking that last week when Melody had her talking to the kids. I was like, I felt like she did a really good job. Now, some people felt like she was wrong for some of the things she, like asking the kids who they want to live with and stuff like that. I don't necessarily feel like it was a bad question, but, you know, I'm not, you know. But she was there to, she said, I'm here to foster healing in this group. Now, of course, Melody already knows her. Destiny knows her. She met her through Melody. But Kimmy and Letitia don't know her. And of course, they're like, who is this woman and what is a shaman? You know, but she started off light. She had them, go through, exercises about, I think her name is Ima, something like that. Anyway, she had them go through exercises about their parents, you know, how many people, mom and dad was a workaholic. Like, raise your hand, left hand if it was your mom, right hand if it was your dad. And they went through that exercise, and I thought that that was interesting because they were able to see some things like, oh, well, like, for example, they asked about parents being a workaholic, and Melody raised both of her hands. And she said, I realized that, you know, both of my parents were workaholics. And so I kind of get it honest when people say, oh my gosh, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing that. I kind of got it honestly because both of my parents were, you know, hustlers like that. And then, you know, Kimmy talked about her bluntness and her attitude and how that's been a source of contention between her and her dad, you know. Letitia talked about her mom not being one to say, I love you, and that being a problem. And, you know, so that was a cool moment, you know, and I think everybody was honest in that moment. Then they did an exercise where they had these cards and you had to hand the card to the person that it applied to. And first, Destiny handed the card to Melody, and it was something about protector. And Destiny even got work, you know, she started crying and she got emotional because she was like, you know, I'm not a very emotional person, but Melody has had my back, you know. Whenever I feel like I'm going through something or I need a friend or I need somebody to be there for me, she's been that person for me, you know. And you could feel it was genuine in that moment. Melody said something to the effect of she wants to build trust, that she wants to repair trust in this group for people who didn't trust her and know that they are trustworthy, like move forward so people know that they are trustworthy. Melody turned to Letitia and said, I think the breakdown in our relationship was you thought that I was backing away from you. There was a misunderstanding. And you thought that I was backing out of our friendship or backing away from our friendship. And it wasn't about you. It was because I was going through some things and I wasn't open to share them. I think Irma asked Letitia how she felt about that. And Letitia's response was, I think that's BS. Immediately the tone changed. Because I think in that moment, Melody was being honest and being authentic. I do. I think in that moment, she was being authentic. I think for her, that is where the breakdown started. Now, Letitia, you could have just as easily said, I feel like the breakdown started X, Y, and Z. And Letitia had a valid point. She said that the breakdown for her started when Melody basically accused her and her husband of being the reason why they were having her and Martell were having marital problems. That's valid. But to tell somebody that what they just told you about what they think is BS, that's going to automatically shut somebody down. I know if I'm Melody, I'm shut down now. So then Letitia started talking about Melody trying to ruin her marriage and destroy her marriage. And Melody said, I never did anything to destroy your marriage. Now, Melody, I can say this, that's BS. Because whenever you accuse somebody of having an affair, whether it's true or not, you aired it out. Let's just say for a minute it's true about Marceau. You aired it out. That's trying to destroy her marriage. Now, she doesn't believe that it's true. I don't know whether it's true or not. That is certainly not my place to judge whether it's true or not. But, I'm just saying. But, you can't sit here and say, like, you can't say, honestly, I wasn't trying to destroy your marriage. And so then, of course, it turned into an arguing match back and forth where, Letitia said that Melody put things on social media and actually named names of somebody that Marceau was cheating on, and that woman denied it, and that Melody, you know, owes her an apology because the woman said it wasn't true, and that Melody has been spreading these rumors about her, and that's why she doesn't feel like Melody is genuine. I understand, and I'm not saying Letitia doesn't have valid points, because like I said, Melody, for you to sit there and say you weren't trying to destroy her marriage, you were. I don't know how else you think being on national TV accusing her husband of cheating is not just trying to destroy her marriage. But Letitia, let's be clear, you are no angel either. Y'all have done things to each other. And what both of y'all have to be ready to do is let it go. I feel like Melody's ready to let it go, but you're not. Because I feel like you want something from Melody that you probably ain't gonna never get. You're not going to get no apology from Melody. I mean, you're going to get a general apology, but you're not going to get Melody saying, I am so sorry that I spread rumors about you and your husband. You're not going to get that from Melody. That's just not, that's not coming. So you're going to have to figure out a way to either forgive Melody and move forward or not. But that you're not going to get. You're just not. Anyway, Melody got up and walked off. She was like, I'm not here for this. I'm not going to keep going back and forth. And, you know, that's pretty much where the episode ended. But yeah, it started off, I think Melody came through with an honest heart. And then it just sort of dissolved into some bullshit on both sides. On both sides, let's be clear. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Drop it in those comments. Peace.